3 Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app. That's arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?
The World Wrestling Federation, for over 50 years, the revolutionary force in sports entertainment.
Oh, it's live, pal.
We're really glad that you're our friend, and this is a friendship that'll never, ever end.
Everybody 3 count. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Or maybe The Rock has got to beat Triple H himself, which means he's got to beat the game in the middle of the ring. And he has a $2 for a wife.
You're too damn selfish, and that's why you're sitting there with a bad leg, and that's why I kicked your leg out of your leg.
You guys talk about being students of the game. I am the game, JR.
3 ain't enough now, I need 5. Welcome in Jim, Ryan, Matt, Tim, and intern Mark.
Oh my goodness, what do we do? There's a 1, there's a 2. Oh!
Wow.
Well, you can take that brass ring and shove it up your ass.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to 3 Count Thursday. We are live, facebook.com/3 Count Thursday. It is Thursday night, March the 18th, 2021. We are still the podcast of the millennium. We got tons to talk about tonight, including the first ever 3 Count Pand-Emmy Awards. That's right. The Pand-Emmys are upon us, but make sure you go to 3countthursday.com. You'll find all of our social media, all of our merchandise over there at whatamaneuver.net.
What a maneuver.
Thank you, Tim. Our Patreon page, patreon.com/3 Count Thursday. Our Collar and Elbow brand deal, get 10% off. New merch today over there at Collar and Elbow, so get some of that fresh stuff, get 10% off. Promo code 3 Count. Also, remember our home network for all things sports and gscsports.com. And, of course, our secondary network. Yes, it is a new expanded partnership. Leeb Sports and Music Network, leebsports.com. That would be
LEEIB sports.com.
That is the one. Ryan's still hibernating. Look, I mean, the WrestleMania week schedule is not gonna get any lighter. If anything, they'll probably add stuff to it at this point. So it's not getting any lighter. He's still hibernating. Hopefully he will wake up sometime before we get to WrestleMania week, but we are glad you are joining us. Make sure you give it a like and a share here for everyone that is joining us live. Scotty says the Pand-Emmys are better than the Slammies, the AEW Awards, the Wrestling Observer Award. I agree. All of our awards are better than any other awards. That is a scientific fact. And he still says we're still better than Bruce Pritchard. Charlie in here as well. So we thank you all, and we will get to your comments as the show goes on. We appreciate that. Tim, how you doing?
I'm great. So I actually heard from a representative of Ryan. He has been in hibernation. But I found out that week 1 is the traditional nut collecting. So he went out and foraged, and he sent out his friends, and they all foraged nuts. And now it is the sleep. It is the great slumber before WrestleMania. It's because it's 9 straight days of wrestling. If you count the after WrestleMania and then the alleged move to Tuesday for NXT, and then AEW is Wednesday. So 10 days. It just keeps getting bigger and better.
There's still no confirmation on the NXT on Tuesday, because I know like the NBC NHL deal discussions have kind of cooled off a bit, so nothing confirmed on that. So yeah, it's at least 9 days, maybe 10. Yeah, maybe 11 going in. Scotty says Ryan could sleep during the Hall of Fame. No, he can't, because we're probably going to be live here during the Hall of Fame. So, but we will once we hammer out the details on our WrestleMania week schedule, we'll get those out on our social media. So we will definitely let you guys know about that. Matt,
how you doing?
I'm doing all right. We have a Southern Brew iced tea here tonight. Mark, there's no lemon in this one. I'm sorry if that upsets you. Otherwise, doing all right. It's very sweet. Might give me early onset diabetes. We'll see, but I'll try to finish it for all of you guys.
It'll put the die in diabetes.
Diabetes.
I had the Rutter's mint tea the other day. That's a tasty one if you haven't had that one. Intern Mark,
how you doing?
Hi, boys. Well, I got to be honest with you. I can't sit here and pretend everything's okay anymore. I just can't do it.
Oh no! Wait,
after what happened with that big announcement just the other day from Hershey Park, I cannot sit here and pretend that I'm okay.
What was the announcement?
They announced the hours for the season, for the year rather, not necessarily the season, for the year. And I'll tell you what, it's just as bogus as last year. As bogus.
No.
The hours are bogus. 11 to 7. And then in the summer, mid-June, 11 to 8.
So what did they used to be? Like in the summer, they used to be open to like 10 or something, right?
They used to be, it would be 10 to 10. Now I'm okay with 11 a.m. open. We don't,
Right.
But they would be open till 10. And then on the weekends in June and July, it was 11 p.m. on just the weekends. And now they're closing at 8 and 7. It's not even going to be dark.
I don't necessarily get that. Like,
I mean, it'd be dark.
Like,
How can you do Hershey Park in dark when it's not dark at all?
It's bogus.
And I mean, I get it. I get, like the reasoning behind hour changes and stuff like that. They're trying to reduce crowds and things like that. But like, just reduce the number of people that you let into the park. Like, reduce the number of tickets. Like, it's not, it's not like COVID isn't more transmissible after dark. Like, if you're going to be open, you're going to be open. Yes. Scotty says here, it's about in California, they're opening amusement parks, but you can't scream on rides. I'm like,
yeah,
okay. If you can't scream on the ride, maybe you should just say it's probably not safe to be open. Like, how are you going to stop screaming on a ride? Like, I don't get it. I don't know. I wouldn't have to worry about it because I don't go on roller coasters anyway.
That's right.
So it wouldn't affect me in any way, shape, or form. The only time I went on one, I did scream the whole time, like a guttural scream. Like, it wasn't even like a high pitched scream. It was something came out of me on that roller coaster. Ryan tells the story great. So once Ryan wakes up and rejoins us one of these times, you'll have to hear him tell the story of me on the Wildcat at Hershey Park. But
that never gets old. That's a great story.
It is a great story. But let's get into it here. We have, of course, our
Big Jim. How are you doing? Before we go any further?
I'm doing really good this week. For some reason this week has just felt really good. Actually feeling pretty positive about things. So we're having a good week. So
so Pennsylvania is obviously different than Maryland for your superpowers.
Yes.
So I know that Matt is fully powered. How is everyone else on their getting superpowers?
I'm scheduled early next week to get the first part of my powers.
Nice.
Yeah, that happened today, so that's a relieving feeling. Intern Mark, do you have any powers yet?
I have no powers, but I have family members who have powers that work directly with people that could potentially have illness. So I'm grateful for that, but I do not have any powers yet.
Okay.
I'm powerless.
See, I have to wait like a while
Because you're too young, I would assume.
Yes. So Maryland has like there's like a staging of like who can get it and when they can get it, and my grouping is the last grouping. So I'm probably a part of that. Every American 18 and over will be able to sign up for it.
Scheduled by May 1st, right?
By May 1st. So I'm guessing it's not going to be until then.
And that's scheduling. That's not necessarily actually getting an appointment either. Like that's the thing. Which, I mean, either way, I mean, we are moving along well.
I mean, I did hear, Mark, you should be fine. They say if you eat 3 stalks of Hodecker celery a week, then there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I've been eating 3 stalks of Hodecker celery most of my natural born life. I'm completely immune to almost everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you're good then. You're immune from pretty much every disease known to man. So you're doing fine. Also, that's not a scientific fact. Eating celery of any kind is not going to make you immune. So don't totally believe it.
Just Hodeckers.
So
Gotta be Hodeckers.
It's Hodeckers or nothing.
To give full perspective, we're in phase 1C, and there's 3 phases of phase 2, and then I'm in phase 3. So so right now it's adults 65 to 74, essential workers. Phase 2A is Marylanders 60 and older. Phase 2B is Marylanders 16 plus with an underlying medical condition that increases the risk of severe COVID-19 illness. 2C is 55 and older, and essential workers like construction, food services, utilities, financial, IT, and everything else. And then phase 3 is
everybody else.
General pop.
There's
Damn. So yeah, they're a lot different than Pennsylvania is.
Hey, Tim, what about the schools? Are they doing anything different? Is it cyber school in Maryland? Or do you know? I know you don't have kids, but
yeah, I think that there's some that are gone back and some that aren't. I don't know for sure.
Gotcha. All right, let's jump into it here. We got our weekly segment. Looking at things that happened on March 18th in pro wrestling history. We have a few birthdays. The late Lance Russell was born today in 1926. The model Rick Martel, born in 1956, same age as my father, actually. Didn't know that. EC3 in 1983, and Vanessa Bourne in 1988. 1995, ECW Extreme Warfare was held at the ECW Arena in Philadelphia, PA, in front of 1,100 fans. The show featured 8 matches, saw the Sandman and Terry Funk defeat Cactus Jack and Shane Douglas in the main event. 1996, the Monday Night War continued with WCW's Monday Nitro's 3.6 rating, beating WWF Monday Night Raw's 2.9. In the main event of the 28th Monday Nitro, Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage defeated Kevin Sullivan and WCW World Heavyweight Champion Ric Flair to a double countout in a Texas Tornado tag match. In the main event of the 150th edition of WWF Raw, then champion Bret Hart pinned Tatanka with a roll-up after Tatanka bumped into the 1-2-3 Kid, who was on the apron. So it sounds like a real barn burner on both ends on the Monday Night Wars. 2000, at a ECW on TNN taping in Salem, New Hampshire, ECW TV champion Super Crazy defeated Tajiri in a death match, ending their long-running feud. They would only face each other in a singles match on one other occasion in ECW in November of the year 2000. 2001, WCW held their final pay-per-view event, Greed, from the Jacksonville Memorial Coliseum in Jacksonville, Florida, in front of 5,030 fans. The tagline for the show was "It's all or nothing, baby." The show featured 10 matches, and in the main event, WCW World Heavyweight Champion Scott Steiner defeated Diamond Dallas Page by technical submission. 2006 Saturday night's main event returned to television after nearly 14 years. WWE held the show, the 32nd edition of Saturday night's main event, at Cobo Arena in Detroit, Michigan. It aired on a 1-hour tape delay. It got a 3.1 rating on NBC. It was the first Saturday night's main event since October 27th, 1992, and the first on NBC since April 15th, 1991. Just 1 year ago in 2020, AEW presented their first Dynamite in the pandemic era from Jacksonville, Florida, and it featured, of course, the surprise debuts of Matt Hardy and Brody Lee. So those were the events that happened March the 18th in pro wrestling history. How about that, Greed?
Yeah, so two things. One, so the 150th episode of Raw aired. What number do you all think we're on now?
Oh, wow.
That was 1993, you said? No.
It was
1996.
It was 96. So you figure there's 52 weeks a year. And it's that's what, 25 years later. That's a lot of weeks. We know it's over. I'm gonna guess somewhere
1400.
I'm gonna guess 1507.
Mock.
Wait, I had 1400 on the mind too, probably because of that stimmy. So I'm gonna pull a Price is Right and say 1401.
Ah, bastard.
And you would win. The number is 1449.
Okay, wow.
So literally this time next year, on the road to WrestleMania 38 will be Raw 1500.
Jeez,
Also, of everything that WWE has already put onto Peacock, feast your eyes. Effing WCW Greed made the list, boys. You can watch Greed on Peacock.
Yeah, baby.
Of everything that they thought to put on there. There's 3 years of SmackDown on here, but yet we've got WCW Greed.
Well, they knew that it happened. So it was appropriate. You have to put the historical events when they happen.
It's not even the full thing of SmackDown.
It's the tagline that sold the Greed to the network.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why they put it on. It's all or nothing.
Back when the tagline really sold the show.
Right? Because they probably got all of 37 buys for that pay-per-view. Charlie.
Go ahead.
Charlie says here, big shout out. Speaking of WCW, big shout out to Eric Bischoff on his long overdue, well-deserved Hall of Fame induction. Absolutely. So the second announced inductee for this year's Hall of Fame.
A lot of WCW love in this one. We got Miss Mona, Miss Madness going in. We got Eric Bischoff going in. I love to see it. Yeah, it looks like Peacock is actually uploading stuff as we speak. Like,
yeah, there's a Twitter thread, and I should have retweeted it, but I forgot to. But that has been keeping watch on what's getting uploaded and has been running a thread throughout the day of things that have been uploaded. So kudos to that guy.
I just hate how janky it is, man.
It doesn't surprise me because I've been peacocking since Peacock peacocked, because I have Xfinity, and the app is definitely wonky to use. My hope when this was announced and when Ryan and I talked about it when we did our special pod about the announcement was that they were just gonna click and drag the WWE network and drop it on Peacock. That didn't happen. My hope is, it's a little weird to use. It's kind of funny to see like WrestleMania season 2 episode 1 is WrestleMania 2. But like my hope is that as time goes on, they will take feedback and things from people and kind of tweak the layout a little bit.
There are 3 WrestleManias not available on Peacock right now.
Okay, which ones is it? Because there was more earlier.
Yeah, there was like 6 earlier that were not on.
So WrestleMania 6 is not available. WrestleMania 28 is not available, and WrestleMania 31 is not available.
See, it's weird that 31 wouldn't be. I feel like you would get the newer ones out of the way, but this account, and it's they had tweeted earlier at this morning there had been 30 WrestleManias uploaded, 5, 6, 16, 23, 28, and 31.
Wait, you said 28 already?
That was at 6:00 this morning.
So since that post,
and I just retweeted the thread. So if you go to @3CountThursday on Twitter, you'll be able to find the thread of all the uploads.
So according to that post, they had uploaded 28, and it's gone.
One of the ones they hadn't.
Oh,
that was one they had. Yeah, those are ones that had been missing.
All right, I was like,
they have dropped a few since then as well. So
I just really hope that they like find a way to like make navigation better. Like,
I hope so too. And it is my hope that as wrestling fans kind of dig in, like I said, I'm familiar with the interface of Peacock because I've already been using it. It is a lot. It is not as clean as the WWE network was.
It's just
it's confusing. It's weird. It's a little disorganized, and I get it. Today's kind of like the big media drop day. They're throwing stuff on as it goes. So yeah, it's my hope that they'll clean it up, tweak it a little bit as time goes on, and that they listen to feedback. Because if we remember when the WWE network dropped, it was not the easiest to navigate, and depending what service, if you use it on Roku versus Xbox versus wherever, it was kind of different on all the different platforms. So and they adjusted and tweaked it as well. So that's my hope, that over time Peacock will tweak theirs as well. That's would be very, very nice. So again, if you're tuning in with us on the live video, we appreciate it, and give us a like and a share. I see Nate jumping in here. He is of course the head of our new secondary network, the Leap Sports network. So thank you to them for extending the partnership that we've had, and make sure you check them out. I will get a section to link to them on our website, 3countthursday.com, coming up here in the coming days. Got to make sure I do that. That was one thing I forgot. I put it down on my notes, but we did have the 3 count question of the week this week, and I think I remember I probably saw somebody tweet about it, but I thought it was an interesting question, and it kind of compared. We've always kind of heard the WrestleMania compared to the Super Bowl of professional wrestling. So the question that kind of came to my mind is like, and I've seen people complain that like, oh, there's only 2 matches kind of booked so far. Again, we have a pay-per-view this Sunday, but there's only a couple of matches. The build doesn't seem great. After Fastlane, you only get a couple of weeks. So they're like, the card's not great. Flyers winning 3-0, by the way, which if you saw them lose 9-0 yesterday.
All right, we don't have to keep talking about it.
I do, damn. But so like the thing that kind of came into my head is like, as a sports fan, I'm watching the Super Bowl regardless of who's playing. As a hockey fan, I'm watching the Stanley Cup Finals regardless of who's playing. As a wrestling fan, especially the WWE mark that I am, I'm watching WrestleMania no matter what. But like, does the WrestleMania card, as we travel the road to WrestleMania, does the WrestleMania card matter to you guys, or is it or is WrestleMania, does it sell itself? Like, are you like, I know I'm watching WrestleMania?
I mean, we're on a wrestling podcast. We all just kind of have to watch.
So even before the show, like before we did the show, did it matter? Like, were you waiting to see what the main event was going to be? Did whoever won the Royal Rumble to be a part of the main event, did that matter? Like, because back then, because again, right now, I mean, Matt, I know you're an Xfinity subscriber. You now have the network for free like I do. So you're probably going to tune in anyway. We have this show, but like back in the days, a long, long time ago, when we had to spend $45-50 on WrestleManias, like, did it matter to you what the card was?
Not for the big four. It never really did for those. But I mean, I wasn't buying many of the secondary pay-per-views unless they pulled me in with the card. So I think WrestleMania has still always had that drawing power of just, it's a big enough event and I can get enough people interested in it to split the buy-in with me. It's like, if I'm like, hey, do you want to come watch, WrestleMania this weekend? I can get 3 or 4 of my friends to be like, yeah, why not? If I'm like, hey, do you guys want to come watch Great Balls of Fire? They'll be like, excuse me. No.
Like, what kind of
Unless
porn?
there's a good tagline.
Right. The movie with Winona Ryder? No, I don't want to come watch that movie. So I think the name has always carried enough that I was going to get it just as a fan. But that's only because of the big four. And sometimes even with like a Survivor Series, I might not get that one. Like Rumble, SummerSlam, WrestleMania were the 3 I always got, and then it was just kind of a, if the card sells me on it beyond that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Like I always got those 3. The Survivor Series was up in there. The other monthly ones, it depended if Jerry McDonald was going to have people over at his house or not.
Depended if Big Jim had the cherry tea from Turkey Hill.
Right, exactly. At Turkey Hill, we're still coming for you. We're getting our legal team on it. But yeah, I mean, WrestleMania was always kind of that one that even I think in the years where I didn't watch wrestling that much, I think I still went to friends' houses to watch it. Mark, does WrestleMania sell itself to you? Did it always sell itself to you?
Yep, absolutely. I mean, going back to the first WrestleMania that I saw live as it happened on a pay-per-view was WrestleMania 3. And that main event with Hogan and Andre sold me on that. I mean, I went to see it anyway, but after that, WrestleMania 4, just because it was WrestleMania, I didn't really care about the tournament. I thought that was silly. But I think it's one of those things where a casual wrestling fan may not necessarily buy it. I think they would base that more on the matches than diehard wrestling fans like us.
Tim, how about you?
I feel as though it helps me set my expectations. Like, I will buy it, but if the card isn't like catching me, I'm less invested. Like, no offense, but this year is shaping up to be a bunch of WrestleMania matches we've already seen. Like, not at WrestleMania, but like, if the Intercontinental title goes the way it's supposed to go, if the U.S. title goes the way it's supposed to go, if Randy Orton pans out the way it's supposed to go, like, WrestleMania is supposed to be a place of like
the showcase of the Immortals,
and also like maybe not a culmination, but near the peak of a storyline. And like all these other matches that they've given away on in the pandemic era, like just they've kind of soured me on what WrestleMania is going to be this year.
And I think that was kind of one of the thoughts I had a little while back. It was when we found out that WWE was planning on having fans at WrestleMania. Like, my initial thought was like, okay, are they really going to make this thing that big, or is it just going to feel big because it's at a stadium, it's outside of the Thunderdome, it's not at the PC, it's not at the Capitol Wrestling Center. There's going to be people in the audience, no matter what number it is. I think the estimate now is around 25,000 each night. Makes me feel a lot better than the rumor of 45,000 each night. So like, is it just going to, is it like, are they selling WrestleMania this year? And I think that's what's happening. I think this year they're selling WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania back in business. Like, fans are going to be there. Like, I mean, Edge winning the Rumble, Bianca winning the Rumble, but like besides that, it hasn't. I mean, we have a tag team title match with the guy who's making his WWE debut in Omos. So, I'm like, that doesn't scream WrestleMania to me. And like I said, obviously watching either way. But this year it feels like it's more they're selling WrestleMania because it's back feeling more like WrestleMania as opposed to we're laying out this classic card, which I mean, but you look back at like 32, there was a great card, great build, and it fell flat for a lot of people. 31 kind of was like meh, and then it kind of exceeded the build and expectation. So maybe that's what they're hoping for on this one, that whatever that lasting image that it leaves us with is going to is going to give us. Scotty here says, I don't understand why people would pay the ridiculous price to go to Mania this year. Only 3 matches he's legit ready for: Lashley, Drew, Edge, Reigns, and Bianca, Sasha. I mean, I think for a lot of people it's getting back to a live wrestling show, and it's getting back to a feeling of normalcy or whatever, or it's a kind of a tradition thing. Like there's friends of the show, the Take 3 Wrestling podcast, that 2 of the guys have been going to every WrestleMania, I think, since 29. So like, for some people it's tradition, and they didn't get to do that last year. So I mean, I wouldn't go this year, but it has, even if I lived in Tampa, and it has nothing to do with the price. It has to do with the fact that I'm not getting around 25 to whatever thousand people, whether it's outside or not. That's not on my things to do list in early April 2021. So why people are doing it, I think it's just kind of that. They want to be part of what is kind of a historic WrestleMania. And as far as I know, the Raw after Mania is going to be back at the Thunderdome. I don't think that it's going to be anywhere with fans. I don't think they're planning on doing it at the stadium. I think it's just going to be back in the Thunderdome. So, which will kind of feel like a fart in church after 2 nights of a big crowd, but you kind of got to work with what the situation has given us this year.
Did you see the liability waiver and release?
No.
So WWE has issued an announcement on the health and safety protocols for attendees and ticket holders. And all attendees going to the event are agreeing to the liability waiver and release and assumption of risk and indemnity agreement. It has language in it such as, I have voluntarily agreed to attend the event. I understand and expressly acknowledge that attending is potentially dangerous to, among other things, risk of spreading or acquiring COVID-19 or similar infectious disease, and other unanticipated and unexpected dangers may arise from my attendance at the event. I hereby assume all risk of loss, damage, and or injury, including death, to my person and or property associated with my attendance to the event, including whether caused by the negligent acts or omissions of Tampa Sport Authority, Raymond James Stadium, and World Wrestling Entertainment Incorporated, and each of its parent, subsidiary, and affiliate companies, and each of its officers, directors, shareholders, employees, independent contractors, agents, or representatives, collectively the released parties.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds about right. I mean, they're protecting themselves. I mean, I would imagine I haven't seen what, if you've bought tickets to football games or baseball games or NHL games or NBA games or anything like that, but I'm sure somewhere along the ticket buying process there's something along those lines as well, because whether it's Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, whether it's the Philadelphia Flyers slash 76ers, whether whomever it may be, there's a degree of protection, because I mean anytime you buy a ticket there's a warning about getting struck by a bat or a puck or a ball or anything like that, so that you're agreeing whenever you buy a ticket, you're agreeing to basically put your life at risk for any number of things. Scotty asks, who is dumber, Dana White, who will have a full house at 261, or Vince? Dana White,
because it's indoors.
It's indoors and it's a full crowd. Like here, at least you're kind of in the pod seating situation. Like we've seen it at AEW and we've seen it at other events.
But now here's the thing: if WWE even did full arena, it's still UFC that's dumber.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on the coronavirus aside, as long as WWE plays by the rules set by the state of Florida, it's outdoors, put as many people as you want in there.
Wait, there's rules in Florida?
I mean, I don't know if they're a fully open state. But
yeah, they're not Texas.
They're not Texas. They're not, what's the other state?
Mississippi.
Mississippi's open. Arizona, I think, is open-ish.
Yeah. And
but if the question is who's dumber, Dana White or anyone, the answer is usually Dana White.
Right. Yeah. That's usually a fairly safe answer. But yeah, I mean, here's the deal. The crowds have been similar to this at Dynamite for months. There hasn't really been any reports that I've seen of any issues with people getting sick after the fact from being there. It's pod seating, it's outdoors, so it's I mean, would I feel safe going there right now? No, but it's certainly a lot safer than shoulder to shoulder indoors without question. So yeah, Dana White definitely dumber on that one. So but yeah, I think WrestleMania, I think this year especially, and it's not overly surprising that I feel like they are selling Mania as Mania versus Mania the card, just because it's the first time in a year plus that you're going to have a crowd at a WWE show. So what ridiculous thing will Shane jump off of? If it's not that pirate ship, then
and why is he even on the card?
Right, then why are we even here? Why are we even going to do?
Technically, he's not on the card yet.
Well, he's not, but we're hoping that he is.
We are.
Well, if he's going to jump off a pirate ship now, that match got pulled off of Fastlane, right?
Yes. Thank God.
Let me ask you this, Jim. What opponent could Shane McMahon have and beat that would upset you as much as the time he beat The Miz?
Oh God.
And why is it
Fiend Bray Wyatt?
Damian Priest?
I mean, without a doubt, if he would face and defeat the Fiend Bray Wyatt, that would that would invoke the wrath of the Big Jim.
You do know the Fiend is dead, right? He got set on fire.
Even still, he should still defeat Shane McMahon.
A resurrected Fiend versus Shane McMahon.
Fiend should still win.
Well,
if it's connected to the Fiend in any way. Hell, even if Alexa Bliss at this point lost to Shane McMahon, I'd be more upset. Probably.
More on that later.
Yeah, we will get to that in a little bit. But the next item, guys, and this is one because we have talked about the agreement between Impact Wrestling and AEW for a few weeks, and kind of the question came up when it was first done, is like who benefits from this, and I think we had kind of like said that I think like both sides can kind of benefit from it. I think that like the AEW women's division could benefit, and both sides, Impact's going to benefit because theoretically there's more eyes that get on the product. But we now know that at Impact Rebellion on April the 24th, Rich Swann will take his Impact World Championship against Kenny Omega with his AEW World Championship, and they will go title for title, kind of a winner take all situation. And the only thought I had when this match was announced is there any chance that we get anything but some sort of a draw, schmaz, whatever you want to call it? Like, do you actually think that either Rich Swann or Kenny Omega is going to leave Rebellion with both titles? And I just don't see it happening. Like, how would either way benefit anybody? Like, I definitely don't see AEW doing it. The only way that I think anybody walks out with both would be if Kenny Omega does.
And that's what's going to happen.
You really think so?
Without question.
So
that's the story.
How has this helped Impact at all?
Well, I mean, how doesn't that help Impact? I mean, your main title is now going to be showcased on another company.
Yeah.
On television.
And just simply, Impact is now a name that comes out of the mouth of wrestling fans more often and with more understanding of what is going on. Like, whether or not like it's drawing their numbers up or anything like that, it is giving them like some sort of not notoriety, but kind of name recognition. And like eventually it'll go that way. But right now, the only way this goes is Kenny Omega wins all the titles. I dare say that this story eventually goes to Kenny having both titles and going to Japan and challenging for Kota Ibushi's title.
Really?
I don't doubt it.
Wow. Yeah, I mean,
especially if we're doing this Forbidden Door thing and we're drawing that line, especially like come summertime, if everybody's got the vaccine.
Right, I was going to say, I think
Kenny is dying to get back to Japan. Yeah.
To me, I just see this thing going draw, and maybe that's just my skepticism on the situation. Scotty, you're saying Impact is a pay-per-view night one of Mania. What pay-per-view? Because this, I mean, I'm going by the never incorrect Wikipedia, but their last pay-per-view was Hard to Kill in January, and now they have Rebellion. I don't know which.
Hardcore Justice is Saturday, April 10th.
That seems like a terrible idea.
It is exclusive to Impact Plus.
Okay, so like the 30 people that, no, I'm not going to be that mean, but there'd be like 30, like the 30 people that are taking that hard no Mania stance are gonna check that one out live.
Here is the ad for it on ImpactWrestling.com. There is a special breed of athlete, violent, fearless, extreme. Risk takers who not only embrace the brutality and threat of physical pain, but also delight in it. As seen on the post-sacrifice edition of Impact, Scott D'Amore granted the innovator of violence, Tommy Dreamer, his request to book the card for Hardcore Justice. Prepare yourself for a night of extreme action.
I mean,
okay.
Do we have like an actual tagline too, or is
no?
Yeah, I got it right here. Boring.
Yikes!
What a shame.
Okay,
that's just destined to fail.
And I mean, here's the deal: like, Impact fans what, yeah, I don't see a lot of people watching that live over WrestleMania, but there will be people that'll watch it after that.
I don't see a lot of Tommy Dreamer fans watching that live over WrestleMania.
But Matt, your thoughts, on the Impact versus AEW championships.
I mean, it's at least it's free publicity for Impact. I think that's kind of all they were looking to get out of this, and I think that's serving them well. We said, what does each company benefit with this? AEW gets to get these storylines because for all the jokes we make, Impact does have some talented people on the roster. So
absolutely,
showcasing them against AEW and AEW getting that change of pace is always going to be a good thing for that. Because, I mean, how many times can you watch Cody, Young Bucks, Omega kind of just do their thing, and before you start to want to see something fresh, and you know that these feuds aren't going to last. So that's at least a good thing for them. And then Impact just kind of gets their name on the mouth of wrestling fans more frequently. They'll get their belt being seen on a major channel. I couldn't even tell you what channel Impact is. It still on Pop? Like what
it's on Access now, and it's on Twitch.
Okay, gotcha. So I mean that's still like kind of a cool and outside the box method of airing your weekly episodes, but you at least are getting more eyes on your product now, and people will be like, oh, why does he have 2 belts? Oh, that one's for Impact. Maybe they'll check it out. I don't know. I wouldn't, but some will.
Some will, some won't. Intern Mark.
Well, I'll tell you what, nothing against Rich Swann. He's a very talented wrestler, but Rich Swann and Kenny Omega wouldn't even be the main event on any TV show, wrestling show. I don't know how that's going to headline a pay-per-view. But I really like Tim's theory. If Omega takes the title and then goes to Japan, that'll really give a rub to Impact. But yeah, I guess in the long run, it kind of gives Impact a little bit of a rub that they're looking for. But I just don't see that match being anything but Omega winning.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely no chance that Rich Swann's walking out with both titles. Like I still and that's not a slight on Rich Swann, but I don't see any chance of that happening. I still, again, call it skepticism, whatever. I still see it kind of going the way of a draw. But if anybody's walking out with both, it is 100% Kenny Omega. But I mean, I'm curious to see, how it turns out and what the build up to it is like. And I think, obviously it's just a little over a month away. So as you get closer to it, you would think there's going to be more emphasis on cross promoting the two shows with each other. I think a little bit more even than they've done over the last couple of weeks. I think around Revolution, AEW focused on their stuff primarily, which is good, but I think they'll get back to a little bit of the cross promotion as you head towards Impact Rebellion. So let's pause here, gentlemen. Let's go to the break, and on the other side we will predict Fastlane. We will get to our Pand-Emmy Awards and of course the news and rumors. Stick with us, everyone. 3 Count Thursday live.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
3 Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app. That's arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on ngscsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis on all things sports. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, subscribe to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
Are you looking for a place to listen to your favorite music and sports? Look no further. WLSN, the Leeb Sports and Music Network, is a web-based music and sports network. Our network was created to provide authentic, high-energy entertainment through live streaming to a national audience. We play popular music while hosting podcasts from all over the world. Curious? Check us out on the web at leebsports.com. That's LEEIB sports.com. Or find us on the TuneIn Radio app. Got Alexa? Just say, Alexa, play WLSN on TuneIn. WLSN is America's #1 blog-themed sports and music network.
Welcome back to 3 Count Thursday, live Facebook.com/3 Count Thursday. Make sure you subscribe to the show on all podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify, and more. If you can find a podcast platform that we're not on, let us know, and be sure to get up there because we're on pretty much all of them, I believe. And if you're following along with us live, make sure you give it a like and a share. We'd appreciate that. Go to 3countthursday.com for all things 3 Count Thursday related. Of course, our home network, our secondary network, our merchandise, our collar and elbow brand deal, and much, much more. 3countthursday.com. So another week, another pay-per-view. It seems we've kind of been going somewhat rapid succession on these. And we talked about the WWE Network, of course, today launching officially on the Peacock streaming service. This will be the last pay-per-view that is on the WWE Network as we know it in the U.S., but it will be on both. It is Fastlane is this Sunday night on the WWE Network and Peacock from the thank you from the WWE Thunderdome. 5 matches as of now. I don't necessarily expect anything to get added tomorrow on SmackDown. Yes, Matt.
Has Peacock won any awards yet?
Not that I'm aware of. I think Tim might be looking up that right now. But as far as I know, it is not the award-winning Peacock as of yet. I mean, it's still relatively young. I mean, it only launched last year. So there are some time. I will have to admit that. I will have to admit that from my posts, of course. Yes, the award-winning WWE Network. But 5 matches on the card as of right now. And I mean, I know Ryan's hibernating from our show and getting ready, but I sure hope that alarm clock goes off before 7 p.m. Eastern time this Sunday, because if he misses Fastlane,
maybe
that's going to be hard to recover from. For good old Ryan.
To be tied.
Yeah. 2021 will just be already a now for Ryan if he doesn't get to see Fastlane.
No doubt. All right, so let's start with it. We will start at the bottom on the Wikipedia card. We have an intergender match: Alexa Bliss versus Randy Orton. I have Alexa winning because I do think that the reincarnated corpse or the next version of Bray Wyatt / The Fiend will return for this match. During this match, I'm curious to see how this is done, because I don't think it's going to be a traditional wrestling match. I think we're going to see some of the different elements that we've seen played into the Fiend and Alexa and Randy Orton's feud as it goes. I think we're going to see a lot of those things incorporated in this match. But I have Alexa Bliss winning this one. Tim.
Alexa Bliss better win. because it's just WWE has a tall task in front of them doing something that we thought they'd never do with intergender wrestling. But Randy Orton has been the one person in the WWE that they've kind of trusted to do things with females for 10 years plus now.
Yeah.
Think of everybody he's RKO'd. Think of everybody he's gotten involved with. Like Randy Orton's that dude. So I think this goes Alexa Bliss's way, and I think you're right about The Fiend too.
Just do it!
Intern Mark.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Alexa Bliss. I think we'll see the return of The Fiend. And, yeah.
Oh, hi,
So let's do it. Hi, boys.
I saw at 90s WWE on Twitter just tweeted, sex is great, but have you ever heard Stone Cold Steve Austin's theme music hit when you weren't expecting it? Matt, Alexa Bliss, Randy Orton.
Yeah, we'll make it a clean sweep. I think Alexa gets the win because of the return of The Fiend or Bray or some incarnation of such, but it doesn't make sense to have Randy just win this.
Definitely.
Can we throw up black stuff again though? Because that would be...
I haven't seen if Papa Shango is going to be part of the show this Sunday or not. I mean, one would certainly hope. I mean, that's been kind of a nice added touch to all of this. Devin has Bliss winning this one. William says, rising out of the ashes, the new Fiend. Then we go to the singles match, Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus. Absolutely zero reason why the guy who's going to be facing the WWE champion at WrestleMania should lose. So Drew McIntyre wins here. Matt.
Yeah, I would never pick Sheamus to win a match anyway, but for all the reasons you just stated, it doesn't make sense for him to win. But you know, we'll set the over under at 6 for the amount of cultural references they make to Ireland/Scotland.
And what a perfect week for it too. I mean, coming right off St. Patty's Day. I mean, just it's the perfect timing for all of the warriors, the Scottish warrior, the Celtic warrior,
the Golden State Warriors.
Maybe they'll announce the Warrior Award during this matchup. Intern Mark.
Well, here's an interesting fact, and maybe you guys knew this. Paddy, P-A-D-D-Y, is the shortened version of Patrick. So that would be the correct way if you want to shorten St. Patrick's Day to St. Patty's Day, not Patty, P-A-T-T-Y.
Yes, it's P-A-D-D-Y is the short. Yes. A lot of people get that wrong.
A lot of people, I got it wrong. I'll be honest with you. I made a mistake. And I'm sorry if that upsets anybody out there, but I think in this match we're going to see. I got to go with Drew just because I hate Sheamus. And it'd be nice to have Grandpa Joe as a special guest referee.
You disrespectful, stupid idiot.
Tim.
Who cares? I'm gonna say I'm gonna say Sheamus, because if anything, I want Fastlane to be an event of consequence. Beep beep. I want it. I don't want to watch this pay-per-view and the only thing I get out of it is, well, WrestleMania is in 3 weeks.
So
Thing sucks.
I mean, let's be honest. This show was thrown here to test run a WWE pay-per-view on the Peacock before we get to WrestleMania. Like, I mean, that's why it's here. Like, there was to me, that's the reason why this show got added.
Right on the cock. Yep.
Then we go to the singles match. Let's see. Devin and William both had Drew. Singles match for the Intercontinental title. Big E defending against Apollo Crews. I mean, I love the new Apollo, but I still think it's Big E's title. I don't think he's going to lose it now. The sad thing, and I know like you kind of alluded to it, Tim, is like we're probably just going to get a redo maybe of this at WrestleMania. Like we're going to get lather, rinse, repeat somehow. So, but I have Big E retaining. Tim.
Big E, to quote a long time ago quote from a fan about the British Bulldog needing to win whether he wants to or not. Just replace the British Bulldog with Big E here. If Big E doesn't win, I'm just going to cancel Peacock right out front. I'm just not going to do it. Yeah, I'm done. I'll be done. Like, Big E's promo on SmackDown this week was amazing. If you didn't watch it,
I'll have to go back and check it out.
Big E on Talking Smack.
They'll replay it in the video package.
Big E on Talking Smack was amazing. You want to see something that gets somebody riled up for next year's WrestleMania? Watch that. But Big E, yep.
Good. Intern Mark.
I think there's going to be a big W for Big E. Big E's going to retain. And I think we will get a rematch of sorts at WrestleMania.
Matt.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me to not have Big E win. Like, I think, you took him away from New Day long enough ago that we need to start seeing that push. I think this is part of that.
All right, then we go to let's jump up the tag team match for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. Nia Jax, Shayna Bazler defending against Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. Devin and William both had Big E in the last matchup. Like, this isn't what should happen, but I feel like it would be a very WWE thing for it to happen. So Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, your WrestleMania opponents 3 weeks ahead of time, will become your new women's tag team champions. Matt.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense. Why not? Just to have them lose it probably like the Raw before Mania, just to kind of create that turmoil. So yeah, sure. Let's have Sasha and Bianca win.
Intern Mark.
Yep. I can see that happening. Bianca and Sasha taking the tag team titles. I don't know. This whole teaming up opponents for a match or for a pay-per-view main event coming up is getting a little old. And I think it's been done so many times, but I'll go with Sasha and Bianca taking the titles.
Very
Only
good.
to lose them.
Yeah.
Team Shania will retain. I think Reginald is going to play a big part in this match.
Makes sense.
Because he's kind of playing both sides of the fence. Like, he's with Sasha, but he's not with Sasha, but he's with Nia, and Nia's hitting on him. And that's kind of cool. But I think it's going to be Team Shania getting ahead of Sasha and Bianca.
Very good. Devin says Team Nia, and he could not give two shits about this match. William says 2-belt Banks. And then finally, we got a singles match for the Universal title. Either Edge or Jey Uso. I think there's a match Friday on SmackDown to determine who will be the special guest enforcer. But Roman Reigns defending the Universal title against Daniel Bryan. I feel like we're going lather, rinse, repeat here. And as much as I love Daniel Bryan, your WrestleMania main event will be Roman Reigns defending his title against Edge. I don't think we're going to get a Daniel Bryan edition here, or a twist. I think it's Roman Reigns. He's going to retain. Tim.
I think Roman Reigns will win here, but not without some chicanery. I think Daniel Bryan finds a way to get himself injected into this main event like he got injected into the WrestleMania 30 main event.
Okay.
Where he has to beat somebody at WrestleMania to face. What if he's got to beat the Usos? Jimmy Uso comes back, and it's Jay and Jimmy versus Daniel Bryan 2-on-1. If Daniel Bryan wins, he's involved in the main event for the Universal title. Like, that's what I think that, like, that's something that can possibly happen. Reclaim some Yeselmania 3 magic and like go from there. Like
Yeselmania 3.
Yeah, I mean it's a shame it's not in New Orleans and the giant Dino Bravo symbol is not in the back, but maybe it's for the best. But yeah, Roman Reigns will retain, but not without some sort of chicanery.
Gotcha. Intern Mark.
Yep. Same. Roman Reigns will retain. I like Daniel Bryan a lot, but I hope he's not injected into the main event at WrestleMania. I think Reigns and Edge can carry itself in the main event. So
yeah, I'd like it just Edge.
Yeah, just Edge and Reigns. And I think Bryan would be okay in there, but I'm happy with just Edge and Reigns. But Reigns is going to retain.
Matt, what do you got?
Yeah, I think Reigns retains. I wouldn't necessarily mind a triple threat. I just don't think they go that route. I think they probably have something else in mind for Daniel. Maybe they'll start the storyline for that at Fastlane, but who knows? But I think Daniel at this point works better in singles matches. To have him in a triple threat with Reigns and Edge, I don't think he fits that as well as another triple threat he might be in.
Agreed. All right. Devin says the big dog Roman Reigns. William says Roman, even though he is tired of this gimmick. So that of course is Fastlane this Sunday. Now, gentlemen, we move to the reason why we are truly here today. It is the 2021 3 Count Thursday Pand-Emmy Awards. To be 100% honest, I stole the idea for the awards from the Take 3 Wrestling podcast, but I did come up with the awards themselves on my own. So the concept in and of itself is not my own, but I have morphed them into my own. Tim, is there a reason you messed up? Oh, you got it.
It's a black mask affair.
It got it. I got you. I'm with you on that one. I left my fiend mask in the truck. I knew
it's so fancy. I wanted to wear my finest black mask for this.
It looks great, and it looks absolutely great on you. We have 10 awards to give away tonight. We kick this one off with the best performer of the year, and I call this the Greg Hamilton Award.
The best in the world.
So I'll kick this one off. I think the guy that became your WWE champion at the start, really at kind of the start of the pandemic shows at WrestleMania a year ago, and kind of carried the title for the majority of the period, and kind of carried the company for a good for the majority of this year. A guy that absolutely earned that championship a year ago. I'm going to go Drew McIntyre as my performer of the year. Matt, we'll go to you with this
one. So I am going to choose The Fiend just because of the style of matches that a lot of pay-per-views needed. I don't think they work as well if you don't have a character like The Fiend. So I think some of my favorite matches during the pandemic were his. The cinematic matches, I think he just kind of elevated himself to a new level, and he died for our sins at the end of it. So The Fiend.
Most certainly did. Intern Mark.
Oh man, performer of the year. I really had to think about this, but I like. I'm gonna go with Johnny Gargano down there in NXT. I don't think Johnny could have a bad match. I think what he's been doing the last few months with the way, and I think it's fantastic. It's one of the most entertaining things in WWE, in my opinion. I'm going to give it to Johnny.
Very nice. Tim.
Well, I feel like if you're going to talk about the pandemic and breakout stars, I think you're going to have to go with Cody. I'm not. There's no way I'm picking Cody Rhodes for this. There's no way. But I would say that Jon Moxley is the performer of the year for the first ever Pand-Emmy Awards. For the same reasons as Drew. I mean, he was the champion of AEW through the duration, had great angles and matchups with Kenny Omega and Eddie Kingston, and even his stuff with Kenta in New Japan. Things were really good for Jon Moxley.
Very good. Devin has The Fiend as his performer of the year. Then we go to the storyline of the year. Tell Me About It award.
Tell me about it, stud.
For me, it's one that started them kind of as a team. They split as a team, and it culminated with what I thought was a fantastic Hell in a Cell match, and that is the Sasha Banks and Bayley storyline. I know it's cooled off over the last couple of months, but if you look back over the course of really last summer and a lot of it during the pre-Thunderdome shows, that was such a huge part of that, and they carried the entertainment at that time, which is even harder before piped in crowd noise and things like that. So to me, it's the Sasha Banks and Bayley storyline. So Tim, we'll go to you on this one, the storyline of the year.
For me, I think that it is the Alexa Bliss Fiend storyline, with her getting captivated like a moth to a flame to the Fiend, and the way that she has kind of taken it upon herself to kind of carry the spooky of Bray Wyatt on, since he has been departed from this world. I got to give it to the Fiend and Alexa.
Very good. Intern Mark.
I think the 24/7 title with Bad Bunny is my favorite storyline.
I was skeptical. About it, but it's been pretty damn good. I'll give this celebrity crossover a thumbs up. Sure.
Yeah, it's not terrible. I understand why they have the belt, why they gave it to Bad Bunny, but my storyline, same as you, Jim, is Bayley and Sasha. I mean, that's like a classic example of letting a story play out over the months, how they used to back in like the 80s and even I guess 90s, early 90s. Just the eventual split and the matches they've had. I think it's been fantastic, start to finish. And it's not over yet. It's just kind of cooled off a little.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's one of those ones that you can always get back to. Matt, who is your storyline of the year?
For me, it is going to be Roman Reigns with the head of the table storyline. I have wanted to see a heel Roman Reigns for quite some time. I didn't necessarily buy into the "it's my yard now" one, but I mean, you give me Paul Heyman on the mic with Roman dominating in the ring, and I'll still make fun of the throwing of the towel moment, but I think everything else throughout this storyline has been pretty on point. It's the Roman Reigns I think we've been waiting to see since the Shield disbanded. I think we're finally getting it, and it's making him we were tired of him, but now he's feeding off of that a lot better than he used to.
Yeah, and I think that's making the WrestleMania booking that much more interesting, because it seemed like an open and shut case the return of Edge, babyface WrestleMania, but I think we're seeing this transition to where you almost have to book Edge as this like angry, disgruntled old vet who's trying to come back and reclaim something, because I think when you get to Tampa on whether it's night 1 or night 2, and it should probably be night 2, I think you're gonna get you're not gonna get a negative reaction for Roman Reigns, because I think the crowd there is loving what this Roman Reigns is. So it's been interesting to watch that. Devin says the Edge and Randy Orton storyline from last year. Williams says 2 candidates, Banks and Bailey, but also Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. And if you have not watched the main event from AEW Dynamite last night, check that match out. That, you know, I still don't necessarily like the lights out concept that AEW does. But Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa absolutely killed in that main event last night. It is on my growing list of matches of the year. I thought that it was absolutely fantastic. So make sure you check that out if you have not seen that. We move on to the Comedic Relief of the Year, the Heavy Machinery Memorial Award.
Oh, tequila. Nothing makes a person more happier than a whole lot of meat inside of them. Chat, big boy.
So for me, you know, this is a guy, you know, I think of the cinematic match during Halloween Havoc and kind of throughout the summer, and even now with his stimmy checks and things like that. I have absolutely loved everything that they have been doing with Cameron Grimes. You know, with NXT definitely being kind of more of a serious wrestling show, especially having him kind of break that up is really, really good. And I really do love what they've been doing with Cameron Grimes. So Matt, who is your comedic relief of the year?
I mean, I think over the year, the one who's given me the most laughs has been Otis. So I'll stick with him just for staying power of all the sound bites that we got from the Money in the Bank match alone. I think it deserves that for me.
Oh, yes.
Intern Mark.
Oh man, I got to go with R-Truth. Not just this last year, but probably even the year before and the year before that, and especially that 24/7 title and the gobbledygook at Thanksgiving. Doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, that's that was a fun little throwback. I know there was like some people that had no clue what the hell that was, and were not happy that you give a call back. But I think sometimes it's good to reward your audience who's been with you for decades and decades. Tim, comedic relief of the year.
So I'm going to go off the beaten path, and I'm going to pick the team of Chase Parker and Matt Martell, Everrise.
Okay.
If you are not following them on social media, do yourself a favor and do it. Every Saturday morning, I believe it is, they do a 8 to 10 minute talk show called Everrise Live.
Okay.
And they are absolutely hilarious. I'm a little biased towards the team of Everrise with my previous history as a Chikara fan, with them being the team of 3.0. But they are absolutely hilarious. Everrise Live, Chase Parker, Matt Martell, Everrise.
Very good. Devin and William both have R-Truth as your comic relief of the year. The next award we go to is the most forgotten / most misused superstar of the year, the Who the Hell Is This award.
Who the hell is this?
And for me, it kind of came down to two. The other one, on this one, I will give later on. Lee has Nia Jax's Hole as the comic relief. But For me, it's Aleister Black. Early on in the pandemic, we saw him working with Kevin Owens a bit, and then he got his eye plucked out by Seth Rollins, and I don't think he's really been seen from since. And it's a shame. The guy is unbelievably talented. We saw the heights that he can go to in NXT, and just they've never really gotten him right here. And we'll see where I think unfortunately we're going to kind of see him finish out his contract from the sidelines, and hopefully land somewhere else. But to me, the most forgotten, most misused is Aleister Black. Tim.
I am going to go with the entire AEW women's division. Up until like the last month, where have they been? What have they been doing? They have a title, but what? Here's hoping that come the second annual Pand-Emmy Awards, which should also be the last annual Pand-Emmy Awards.
Hopefully, I'm even like borderline hoping that it's like half Pand-Emmy, half post-Emmy Awards. By the time we get to next year.
Right. But it has to be the AEW women's division for me.
Can't disagree. Intern Mark.
Well, my first thought was Big Show, but now he signed with AEW, so I took him off the list.
No more BS. No more BS.
No more BS. Hey, we don't have to worry about him coming out and ruining any WrestleMania moments this year either. So for that, I'm grateful. I got to go with Miro and or Rusev, if you will. I think he's been misused, and I understand it's a funny ha-ha gimmick kind of thing, but boy, he just did not have the impact I thought he would in AEW, at least not yet. So I'm going to say he's the most misused.
I did chuckle. There was a line last night when he was talking to Kip Sabian backstage. He said the worst thing you can do is bring your wife to ringside. So that made me chuckle a little bit, but again, can't disagree with you there, Mark. Matt, who do you got? Most misused or forgotten?
Yeah, I mean, it was between two for me as well, and you stated the one I was leaning towards, Jim. So I'll just give the shout out to Ricochet, just because he has, not been really used at all since he kicked Lesnar in the dick at the Royal Rumble, right? I mean, what have we really seen from Ricochet? So that would be my choice.
Very nice. William has Dolph. Devin says Murphy, as well as his most forgotten, most misused. There with that Mysterio storyline, and then poof, disappeared. So the next one we go to is the best use of their building, the Explore the Space Award.
I mean, really? Yeah. Explore the space.
To me, this, because I didn't want to award. I tried not to award multiple awards to the same people or persons. And to me, this is where I gave The Fiend / Alexa Bliss / Randy Orton. I think the way that they've incorporated, the backstage interview space, the Thunderdome, using, the things you can do in the Thunderdome, since you don't have a live audience there, the way they've incorporated elements of that. I mean, they lit a guy on complete fire, for God's sakes. So I think everything, I've loved what they've been doing throughout this storyline. And I hope it continues this Sunday at Fastlane. So absolutely The Fiend, Alexa Bliss, and Randy Orton. Matt, best use of their building.
I
gotta change their name. I really do.
It's tough to top that one. I guess the only one I would say would be the Undertaker with the Boneyard match, just because of the way that went out, given the circumstances, given the documentary coming out, what we always thought would be something that we would see in front of a live crowd, just making that match as memorable as they did for what is seemingly the last Undertaker one. That would be my choice.
Very good. Intern Mark.
Well, I got to go with that AEW Daly's Place, the arena there when they had that. What was that? I forget the name of the match they had out on the football field.
Stadium Stampede.
That's what it was. The Stadium Stampede. I think I really like the outdoor kind of effect. I'm getting really tired of the Thunderdome. I mean, I totally get it, and I understand that it's better than not having anybody in there, like as far as even the video screens. But I'm ready for that to be over. It's nice to see live people. So
yeah,
I
still kind of wish that they would do a little bit more like the NBA kind of had the same backdrop for everybody in the crowd, where like WWE, it's just this mixed bag, and I think it does make it a little bit rougher on the eyes. But it is what it is. Tim.
Do we forget that WWE held Money in the Bank at Titan Tower?
I mean, I didn't forget that.
That is absolutely the best use of space during the pandemic. That while that Money in the Bank was not as good as other Money in the Banks, the runaround throughout the entire Titan Tower, seeing different things, the cameos from Vince and from Bruce Pritchard's son and
Brother Love,
seeing dudes get thrown off the top of Titan Tower. We get the birth of Otis and there's so many other cool things. I'm gonna give Money in the Bank 2020 and all of those involved the Explore the Space Award.
Very good. Devin has Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens for Explore the Space.
That's a good number 2.
That is a good one as well. That that match was solid. Then we go to the Champion of the Year, the I Love Gold Award.
I love gold.
To me, this one is the head of the table, and I understand he only had it for kind of half of the time, but the way that Roman Reigns returned, won the title, and has carried the title since then. Just when I think about this year and this period of time, to me, he's been the best champion of this era. Tim.
I think I'm going to double down and go with Jon Moxley again.
Okay.
For AEW. When AEW needed a recognizable name that wasn't stale as champion, John really fit the bill.
Oh.
Intern Mark.
I'm gonna go with you, Jim. I was thinking Roman Reigns for sure. The whole head of the table thing, I really am enjoying that. So I got to go with Roman.
Very good. Matt, how about you?
Yeah, as much as I'd want to give it to someone from NXT or something, I think, with that being the storyline of the year that did it the most for me, I think that was the best use of the title. I mean, having the title and calling him to represent that title is just a huge win. So I'll double dip and give Roman Reigns another one here.
Very good. Devin had Drew McIntyre as his champion of the year. Then we go to the superstar who would have been better served on another brand or show or company, the You Don't Even Go Here award.
You don't even go here.
This was the other half of my Who the Hell Is This award, and that is Andrade. Obviously, we know that he is asked for his release. We know it's been denied by the WWE at this point. And this this is a bummer, man, because we kind of saw some of that potential, obviously in NXT, and then even as the United States champion in WWE, and it felt like ever since Paul Heyman was no longer the head of creative of Monday Night Raw, and then Zelina Vega leaving the WWE, it's just this is a huge miss. Andrade is super talented. I wish he would have gotten his release. I get why WWE said no, because you don't want a talent like that to go somewhere else while he's theoretically still on your dime. But I want to see this guy work, because he's just too damn good. He's absolutely too damn good. Matt.
I will use the other half of my who the hell is this and go with Aleister Black here. I think there are a number of storylines where he would have been a perfect fit over in AEW. I feel like his style of wrestling, his look is just has AEW written all over it too. So I think that he would be a fantastic person for them to have on their roster.
Intern Mark.
Well, you guys took the two I was thinking of. I'm going to go with Nakamura. Shinsuke, I think he was tag team champion at some point in the last 12 months or so. But other than that, boy, I just feel like he's been misused. I think I could really see him in any of the any world title hunt. It just hasn't happened. So I'll go with Shinsuke.
Tim.
I'm going to go with Mickie James.
Okay.
Someone who has just been in the wings, doing absolutely nothing but collecting a paycheck, as Big Show like to say, or excuse me, Paul White likes to say, she's out in Shady Acres right now. And she deserves better than that, and her going to AEW right now would be a masterful job.
Yeah. Another one that just deserves better. Absolutely. Lee has Ricochet. Devin agrees with me with Andrade, and William says Andrade as well. So then we go to the tag team partner that was left behind, or should it be left behind, the Marty Jannetty Award.
I just knew he was going to do that. He don't need Jannetty. I told you that. What a despicable act that was. Right through the glass window.
Oh, God damn it. It reset on me. We'll hit it again.
He was going to do that. He don't need Jannetty. I told you that. What a despicable act that was. Right through the glass window of the barber shop. Jannetty tried to dive through the window to escape. Did you see that? Are you blind?
This one for me, and I mean, I was fine with the partnership at first, but the more it's kind of played on, I want better for Shayna Baszler. So Nia Jax should be left behind from this partnership. Give me an ass-kicking Shayna Baszler out in singles competition. That is what I want. Tim, we'll go to you.
I am going to go with Mustafa Ali leaving Retribution behind.
I like that.
I think that he could be better served doing the Retribution thing by himself than to be saddled with T-Mac and
Slapdick
and Recognizance and what's the other person? Mace Windu.
Mace Windu.
Yeah, I think Mustafa Ali would absolutely just crush it by himself, away from Retribution.
I agree. Intern Mark.
Well, this is a tough one. Let's see. I was kind of leaning towards John Morrison leaving The Miz, even though I do enjoy the two of them Morrison. Well, this kind of did go on his own to win the world titles. So, yeah, I'll go with Morrison. I think Morrison has a lot more potential. Well, I know he does for sure.
Definitely.
So, yeah, I'll Morrison it.
Matt, who do you got? Marty Jannetty Award.
I mean, I think at this point we already kind of saw them start to separate this team. So let's just make it all a singles run and let's get Kofi out of the New Day and just be done with the New Day at this point. I love the New Day. I loved what it was. I loved what they made it. But that was what, 5-6 years ago. Like at this point, I don't see them getting a long tag run again. It wouldn't make sense. So let's get them both on the singles cards and let's see what they can do on their own again.
Dang.
So
did not see the New Day coming.
The New Day debuted July 21st, 2014.
Wow.
So almost 7 years.
Jesus. I didn't think it was that long, but damn. Devin has Morrison. William gives this one to Heavy Machinery, and Lee says Chris Jericho. We kind of thought we may have been getting that, but they went another way on that one. So then we go to the Only in a Pandemic Award. Tim, I know you'll appreciate this category. It is the Jeremy Barami Award.
Occasionally, that moment on the Barami timeline is the time moment when nothing never occurs. So you get it.
This broke me. The dot over the I. That broke me. I'm done.
I watched like the first couple of episodes of The Good Place. It just didn't connect with me.
So good.
Keep watching. Keep going.
All right, I'll have to dig back into
So you have to. I hate shows where you're like you have to watch the first season, or like there's a long build up. But once you get the season 1 finale, everything makes sense, and then you're in. You're locked in.
All right, I can dig back into that one.
It's kind of like Parks and Rec. Like if you can get through season 1 of Parks and Rec, then you will be rewarded with such a good TV show.
Except like season 1 of Parks and Rec just isn't funny, really. Like,
right?
They don't have like Ron Swanson isn't that cool.
Andy isn't what he is.
Right. It's like they really don't catch their stride until season 2. But for The Good Place, what you get in season 1 just gets amplified as the show goes on. And you really get a grasp of the 6 major characters. With Janet and Michael and Chidi and Jason and Eleanor and Tahani.
All right, I'll have to try to dig back into it. But my Only in a Pandemic Award, and this ties to your use of the Space Award, Tim, and I think some of our other ones. But Otis is Money in the Bank winner. He was Comic Relief, and he kind of brought the funny and the nature of the Money in the Bank last year lended itself to him being the Money in the Bank winner. Obviously there was not the payoff with it. It kind of cooled off a bit, but Otis's Money in the Bank, we 100% do not get that without a pandemic. Tim, I think we go to you now on this one.
Sure. And I'm going to go with a stark reminder that we lit a dude on fire this year. Like, for real. Like, not even talking about the ball of fire that was in the middle of the ring. Bray Wyatt was on fire before that. With the claw on. So we set a person on fire in 2020. Only in the pandemic would we actually do a storyline where a person is engulfed in flames and is declared by some legally did.
He did.
He did.
He did. That's certainly fair. Intern Mark.
Well, I don't think in a pandemic that we would have gotten the heel Roman Reigns head of the table that we have. I think he still would have been pushed as the baby face, even though he would have been booed heavily. And I don't think the Paul Heyman pairing would have happened. So, and I'm happy all that did happen. Not that we have a pandemic, but we're making the most of it.
Pandemic. It paid off in a wrestling storyline. # worth it.
It got me out of jury duty too, so I was happy about that. But now,
532,000 is just a small price to pay to sit at the end of the table.
The head of the table, and I don't have jury duty.
That's it. I mean,
that's awful. It's not fun.
If I had to do it again, I would absolutely not do that.
Matt.
For me, and I mentioned earlier, Fiend being the superstar of the year for me, wrestler of the year for me. I don't think we get the Firefly Funhouse match with John Cena if not for the pandemic, and that being one of my favorite matches of the pandemic. What a shame it would have been if we hadn't gotten that one. So, I mean, the other cinematic matches, they can probably still make sense with, but the cutaways, the build up to everything, like you can't do a lot of the build up to the Firefly Funhouse match with John Cena if there's a live audience.
Yeah, because I mean, even if we've done cinematic type things, the payoff always comes back to the live arena. So that those things were able to happen in their own world. Devin has Otis as Money in the Bank as his, and then our final of the 2021 Pand-Emmy Awards. It is the worst moment of the year. This is the Shockmaster Award.
He is none other than the Shockmaster! All right. The Shockmaster!
They call me the Shockmaster.
I didn't want to go low hanging fruit on this one in something we talked about like a week or two ago. So I went with the one that if you get a mental image of the moment, it is without a doubt the worst thing. And that is Ric Flair's love affair with Lacey Evans. Because if you get that mental picture, that is awful. It is not okay. And it is very bad. So that is my Shockmaster Award. Matt.
For me, and while I did say the head of the table is my favorite storyline, the throwing of the towel still stands out to me as the dumbest thing that we saw in the pandemic, aside from the thing that happened a couple weeks ago.
Right. Come on, Oos. Don't do it, Oos. Intern Mark.
Man, I guess I was going for the low-hanging fruit because that's the first thing. When I saw this question that came to my mind, I don't know if there's been anything worse. Well, anything, I wouldn't say worse, but anything that was as disappointing as the ring and exploding and imploding, and that never happened with it was bad. That was real bad. That was Shockmaster.
The only ones I like.
Yeah. It was bad. Tim, your worst moment of the year.
I'm gonna take you guys on a trip down memory lane to let me get the exact date. July 19th, 2020. At an event in which someone had their eye poked out. And we had a Wyatt swamp fight. Whatever the hell that is. I'm going with the horror show at Extreme Rules.
The whole thing.
The whole thing sucked, Mean Gene.
Thing sucks.
I can explode. I can excuse Puff the Magic Dragon at the end of Revolution. I can excuse the throwing of the towel. Bruh. Rey Mysterio's gumball eye came OUT out. I mean, they just handed it to Dominic and was like, chew. Like, it was bubblegum. Do yourself a favor, Peacock. Leave this one off.
just forget to transfer over the horror show.
Just copy over any other Extreme Rules pay-per-view
in its place.
Gosh, let me even try to find one that might even be like, well, there's one with the Hardy Boys on it, 2016.
There you go. Just
put that was a really nice. That was actually, I was at that Extreme Rules. Holy crap! That was the one at the Royal Farms Arena in Baltimore.
Ooh, that should have been called the Hardy.
But that was Alexa Bliss versus Bayley in a kendo stick on a pole match. If you remember how horrible that was.
Jesus. Maybe they should just do away with the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. Maybe they should do that.
They've been bad.
Put Elimination Chamber in the place of Extreme Rules.
There you go.
And just do Fastlane and Roadblock on the way to WrestleMania.
Well, the Great Balls of Fire is still lingering out there.
I'm fine with that.
Devin has the ending to AEW Revolution. William agrees the whole Extreme Rules pay-per-view sucked to no end. What the hell was Vince thinking on this one? It probably just got hot. I mean, they're in that warehouse in Florida, probably no AC in the PC down there, so maybe he just got overheated. He's an old guy. But those were the 3 Count Thursday 2021 Pand-Emmy Awards. Like I said, hopefully by next year it'll be the Pan and Post Emmy Awards. Mark, is that a magnificent beast right there?
There he is.
Oh my goodness.
Look at the magnificent fluffy dog came up to see me.
Oh my gosh. He is a magnificent creature.
What a unit.
Oh my gosh.
Look at him.
What an animal.
Ratings are going through the roof now.
They certainly are. Let's go now, guys, to the news and rumors. Then we'll close up and get out of here. Of course, today we talked about it a little bit earlier. The WWE Network officially launched as part of the Peacock streaming service. Along with the launch, the first classic content addition to the network today, 10 episodes of WCW Saturday Night from 1993. So we'll have to, I think there'll be accounts that'll keep eye on if there'll be classic content dumps on Thursday as well as Mondays it typically has been. A best of compilation for Stone Cold Steve Austin will be added this Saturday on the network. His Broken Skull sessions with Randy Orton will be added this Sunday, and I think it's supposed to air after Fastlane. And then, of course, the Fastlane kickoff show this Sunday and Fastlane at 7:00 Eastern time. Some key dates in regards to the network rollout on Peacock. The library is being added piece by piece by piece as we've seen throughout the day. But the entire library will not be available for viewing until sometime this summer. Of course, today was the launch. This Sunday, Fastlane, Sunday, April the 4th, the WWE Network for users in the United States will close its doors, making Peacock the exclusive home for the WWE Network content in the U.S. If you live outside the U.S., your network will not change in any fashion. And of course, Saturday, April 10th, Sunday, April the 11th, the WrestleMania 37 will stream exclusively on Peacock in the United States. WWE Hall of Fame, of course, earlier was announced. Eric Bischoff is the newest inductee to this year's class, but previously we kind of thought this was going to be a taped show. It is now being reported the ceremony will air live from the WWE Thunderdome. PW Insider reports that I will air live on the network in Peacock. Some speculation that they'll have fans attending virtually, but for the inductees, and I think a limited number of guests, probably family and close friends, will be in attendance there. But like I said, we will probably be live on Hall of Fame night, so you guys plan accordingly. Come here, watch that on demand. AEW Revolution, last Sunday's show, likely to break AEW's pay-per-view record by bringing in approximately 125,000 buys worldwide. This is from WrestleNomics. This would include both traditional and digital platforms. It's the best showing for a non-WWE pay-per-view since 1999. The previous AEW pay-per-view record was 105,000 from last year's Double or Nothing. Their lowest actually was the All-In, the pre-AEW All-In, which is at 45,000. So obviously we've seen the growth over the last couple of years. WrestleNomics also reporting that between pay-per-view buys, ticket, and merchandise sales, AEW grossing just over $5 million for the show, and expected to net around $2.4 million after splitting revenues with domestic and international broadcast partners. Production of the show estimated under $1 million, so the company will make a profit on AEW Revolution. And then finally, we jokingly, of course, referred to our happiness about some things that the pandemic gave us that we wouldn't have gotten otherwise. This is something I think we can be happy that the pandemic took away from us. Tyson Fury, in an interview with Behind the Gloves, he revealed plans that WWE plans that were canceled due to the pandemic. He was supposed to go to SummerSlam last year, was supposed to be WrestleMania last year, and he was also supposed to wrestle Drew McIntyre in a pay-per-view event in the UK, but none of that happened due to COVID. So, hey, it all balances out, right? But those are the news and rumors for this week. If you guys have do you guys have anything else to add? Otherwise, we're going to close this thing out. All good? All right, let's do this thing. Matt, we'll start with you with the plugs. Start with the Woman of the Week and anything else you want to add.
Yep. Make sure you are following 3 Counts Thursday Instagram page. That is at 3 Count Thursday. This week it is Kaya McKenna, our Woman of the Week. So give her a follow. Follow everyone that we feature. They're all awesome people. So the 4 pictures that we put up is just kind of a glimpse at the awesome shots that they're consistently posting. So make sure you're giving them likes, follows, subscriptions, whatever on Instagram. You can follow me on Twitter. It's at 3CT Affiliate. And you can hear me every other Wednesday on the Whiz Wit podcast, where myself and Ant talk all things Philly sports. That will be back next Wednesday. That's on Twitch. You can follow the podcast at Whiz Wit on Twitter.
Very good. Intern Mark, got anything?
Oh, hi, Mark. Oh, hi, boys. Let me think here. Folks, please, let's all email Hershey Park, the corporate office, and let them know how upset we are about these hours. Maybe we can volunteer to work there. Something's got to be done. Please. If we all bond together here, we form, if we go there to strength in numbers, we got to do something. We can't have this going on 2 years in a row. Please. It's nonsense.
Nonsense. We'll get to work on that, as well as hopefully getting Cherry Tea back from Turkey Hill. We have a lot of irons in the fire here at 3 Count Thursday. Tim, got anything?
I do. Of course, as always, not the tool man across all platforms: Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, if you care. If you're on TikTok, send me TikToks. I don't necessarily TikTok, but I don't talk, but I watch the ticks. You can catch me if you enjoy what I do here, wrestling wise. You can catch me at weekly on Final Wrestling Place, at Final Place Pod on Twitter, where myself and my best friend Marcus break down the who's its and the what's its in the world of professional wrestling and put them into the good place or the bad place. We are in the midst of Mania Madness. Go to Twitter, twitter.com/finalplacepod, and vote on who should win both the good place and bad place side of the WrestleMania celebrity bracket. Our final four for the good place side of celebrities is Iron Mike Tyson, Bob Uecker, Pete Rose, and Floyd Money Mayweather. And the bad place side is Kim Kardashian, the Bud Light Catfight Girls. It's Miller Lite.
Miller Lite, not Bud Light.
It's the Miller Lite Catfight Girls.
Bud Light had the twins.
That's right. Nick Turturro and Jennifer Flowers. So go to twitter.com/finalplacepod to place your votes. Polls should close Saturday. So you've got time. We also do a live reaction podcast for every AEW, WWE, and NXT pay-per-view. We'll be doing that a lot in the next coming weeks. Viewer's choice at VC on North South. Should be a good time had by all. I'm also going to be a guest on the A Show, which is the A Show at CKCC on Twitter. I partook in a WWE 1995 draft. So we drafted the year 1995 and we had to make a card based on what we drafted. And that should come out this Monday as well. I'll be sure to post it on my socials when it drops. So as always, a big shout out to you boys. I love seeing you guys every week. And each and every one of you at home listening, whether you're with us live or you're on your podcatcher of choice. We thank you guys for being here.
Yeah, 100%. You can, of course, catch me at Big Jim Sports. You can check out my sports podcast at Huddle Up Podcast, but make sure you're just following along with the show at 3 Count Thursday, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Go to 3countthursday.com, of course. Check out our merchandise, our Patreon page, and everything else. All the links are there. Check out our home network at ngscsports.com. That is a place you can find all things sports. And also our secondary network, leibsports.com, LEEIB sports.com for sports and music coverage. Until next week, guys, stay safe, stay smart. Still keep doing the mask thing and be responsible. We're going to keep getting through this. But until then, stay safe, stay smart, and go for the pin. Recount Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website, arenaeats.app. That's arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?